Hey, what is going on, guys? Hope you're having a good new year. So, today I want to talk about a topic that's really important to me and that I see a lot of beginners in business in general, but specifically for people who are starting their marketing agency journey or freelancing or just getting into doing paid marketing services for other people, is that they have a lot of anxiety and nervousness on business calls. So that is either Zoom calls, like, Zoom or Google Meeting, video calls, or WhatsApp calls, phone calls, whatever it is. So this is really important to me because I actually had a real issue with this when I started. And I don't know if, I guess a lot of you don't know this, but I would say I had above average anxiety about doing business calls and things when I first started. I think I think everyone has a certain level of anxiety. It's just kind of, a product of our modern society, I feel. But so I think everyone has a little bit, depends on the person and all that stuff. But anyway, I felt I had like above average, and yeah, I would get really nervous and anxious before, during, and even after business calls. And so I want to talk a little bit more about that today and share some insights, share some things that helped me and more about my journey, so that if that's you and you're dealing with this, or you've just started your freelance marketing, online business journey, whatever it is, maybe you can take something out of this. Okay, so as I said, I had, what I would say is higher than normal or above average anxiety for business calls. Just get really nervous. It would sometimes feel like there'd be like a block in my brain when I'm like trying to explain or talk something. Just slowed everything down too much, and I felt like I couldn't quite do the calls as well as I wanted to. I was nervous. I was talking really fast, all of these things. And what I found is that, so the first thing is that you'll naturally get over this a little bit with more experience. So not only more experience doing calls, but also just more experience with providing your service and working with businesses. So the more results you have and the more, confident you are in your product or service, I found that the less anxiety I had. So that was part of it. Okay. And then also just on a pure call basis, the more you do, the better you'll get at it. It's kind of like anything. So what I found, what really helped to start, is actually doing like hundreds or thousands of cold calls. Because the great thing about that is that you're not face to face with someone, so it removes a lot of the I guess fear factor or nervous factor or anxiety about that. And so that helped a lot. And I think rejection is such an important part of business and learning, and just human growth in general, in that, if you start doing 10, 20, 30, 50 cold calls a day, you are going to get a ton of rejections. It's just the nature of it. You're going to get people, you're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to get people telling you to F off. You're going to get a lot of like stuff. And, the first few days, it's tough because it's something new and you're not used to it. But about after the first week, and once you get through a few hundred calls, you are so good at it. You get a lot of confidence. You stop caring about the rejection, and you get a lot less anxious and nervous about these calls. And you just start to see them as, kind of a game, and that none of it really matters. Do you know what I mean? So once you get to that level, you're pretty much untouchable. Like, if you just consider this whole thing a game, that, you just call them. If they don't like it, they say so, whatever, it's okay, move on to the next. It's just a game, whatever. If you get them on the next call, then it's a win. Try to see it as a game and that nothing really matters, and you'll be really successful. You'll lose a lot of your anxiety and nervousness. At least that's how it was for me. Okay, so that's one thing. Another tip is just try to treat it as a casual conversation. I think one of the biggest issues, especially when people are starting out, is that they see these maybe they're small business owners, medium business owners, big business owners, whatever, but they kind of put them on a pedestal, and they see them as higher status. Maybe it's because of their title, their CEO position, or their VP of whatever marketing position. Maybe it's because they work for a 6, 7, or 8 figure company. Whatever it is, they put them on a pedestal, and I dealt with that a lot too when I was starting out. And you really just need to stop believing in that and shift your mindset so that see them as equal, because we are all equal, and literally money is meaningless. It doesn't matter if someone has 100 million or a million or $10. We're all human. We're all the same. I think once you get to a level where you actually fully understand that, then you become very powerful in that. That doesn't have any meaning for you. When I meet someone, who runs an 8-figure business, obviously I'm appreciative of the amount of hard work and dedication that got them there, and that maybe there's a thing I could learn, a thing or two I could learn about them from other areas of business, not marketing, but maybe sales, maybe SaaS, tech, whatever it is. People, there's lots of different things. I think you can learn something from everybody. But I'm definitely appreciative of that when I'm speaking to those people, but I don't see them as anything more than they are. They're just average person. They're like me, and they've worked hard, and they've made some money, and they have a business. It's not a big deal. I don't see them as better than me or anything like that. We're all equal. And that's not to say that money isn't important. Like, obviously I think it's important. I just see money as energy, so it gives you the ability to do things, to, free your time up. It's a good thing. But in terms of, I see a lot of people, and even just like seasoned or like veteran, friends in the sales industry and things like that. They, I'm talking to this 100 million client, and they're just kind of tiptoeing around what they want to say with them, or they're nervous about it, or they have anxiety. I'm just like, man, who gives a shit about this guy? This person is just like you and me. Don't, like, money is, it's nothing. It's meaningless. When that guy, it doesn't make that person better than you or anything like that, right? So that's my personal belief. I don't know if you share that or not, but as far as helping to deal with nervousness or anxiety, once I got to the level where I literally didn't care about any of this stuff, I don't care about someone's status or things like that, how much money they have. It's literally meaningless to me, because I've met so many people at these levels where they reach a certain amount of money, and it's funny, they themselves realize that it's not the end goal. It's literally, once you reach, of course it's important, but once you reach a certain level, you can't do more with more money. You know what I mean? After a certain level of money, and it's quite a high level, but after a certain amount, it's meaningless. And other things are important: friends, family, love, passion, having an impact on the world, maybe legacy. All these intangible things that aren't money, right? So anyway, not to kind of sidetrack there, but my point is that don't put these people on a pedestal. They're just like you and me. They're average people, and they have a problem, and you have a solution. And just see it like that you're literally helping them fix a problem, and that's it. And so if it doesn't work out, whatever. If they don't like you, whatever. If they try to, if they're rude, whatever. I've told people on calls, and some 8-figure business owners, that I didn't like them, and I'm not going to continue working with them, and that we need to end the call because I didn't like how they treated me on the call, and they were extremely rude. You will encounter some of these people. But anyway, so I think that, just treat it as a casual conversation. Don't put them on a pedestal. Stop believing that their status or wealth or whatever puts them above you in any way. And this will reduce a lot of your anxiety because, think about when you talk to, I don't know, a random person in the line at, say, a McDonald's or a grocery store or something like that, and you don't know anything about them. Do you get nervous? I mean, maybe you get a little nervous because they're strangers, but do you get nervous about their status or something? No, because you don't know anything and you don't care at that point, right? So try to treat it as a casual conversation, and you'll be a lot less anxious and nervous. So some other techniques that you can use. Actually, no, before I get into that, one last thing. So this is important too. Don't worry about what you're going to say, or if you mess it up, or if you stutter, or if you're awkward or whatever. So I've done that like countless hundreds of times on calls where if I didn't know what to say, or I was unclear in my explanation, or there was miscommunication. I messed up some of my pitch one time. When I used to use scripts and things like that, I stutter sometimes. Sometimes I'm like socially awkward on the call. It's just, you're meeting a stranger, right? So things happen, whatever, move on, and just play to your strengths. Don't sweat that stuff, I used to follow a lot of these guys, like these sales guys like Grant Cardone and, Wolf of Wall Street guy, Jordan Belfort, and some of the other guys. And I think they do have some valuable lessons and insights to learn, but I wouldn't take them as like gospel or like Bible or like this is exactly how you have to do it. And what I found is that, the moment I stopped really using scripts or trying to manipulate or control the flow of things and just wing it and just be real, just have a real conversation with the business owner and just be myself and not worry about any of this stuff. If I did this right or that right, whatever, just have the call and see if I can help them. That's when I started really having a lot more success, and I lost a lot of my anxiety and nervousness about these calls. So don't worry about, if you say the perfect thing or whatever. Nothing's going to be perfect. shit happens, just move on and yeah, don't think too much about it. So some techniques that you can use before you have a Zoom call or whatever type of call you're going to have for a client or prospect call is obviously you can do some deep breathing. So sometimes, when I used to have a lot more anxiety about these, I would start with taking, some deep breaths for a minute or two before I jumped on the call. And that would just really chill me out, kind of calm me down and get me set up for the call. Something else I used to do for a little while is I used to take CBD oil. So CBD oil is like a natural anti-anxiety, and basically just really calms you down. There's no side effects, or at least I didn't have any when I was taking that. And it just really chills you out. You still have your 100% like cognitive abilities. It just chills you out. That's all it does. So I found that useful for a while when I was starting out. Now, just to disclaimer, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. So, do your own research. I'm not recommending anything, but just telling you what I used to do. So yeah, for a little while, at one point I was taking, I think the second or third year I had my agency. I started my Facebook ads agency before I got into YouTube ads. I was doing a lot of calls, like a crazy amount of calls, prospect calls, cold calls, etc., Zoom meetings, all of that stuff. And so what I found is that worked for me. That helped chill me out a bit. And when I was living in Vancouver at the time, I was accessible there. So yeah, that's just something else to help me. Obviously, it's up to you what you want to do. There's many supplements and things out there that can help as well. This is just kind of my story and what I used. But I would say that, yeah, the biggest things that will help are, so number one, just being really good at what you do, like being really, really good at what you do. So just naturally with more experience, you're going to have more confidence. You're going to get less worked up about any of these calls or care about any of these calls. And after you start signing people, working with people, you're just going to start to see them as not this kind of big thing that maybe you get nervous for, but just a casual everyday part of business. And it's literally not a big deal at all. You're not really going to care about them anymore and just see it as a game. So that's one thing. Second thing is just treat it as a casual conversation, okay? Just among an acquaintance or friend. Stop believing in their status or wealth, that it puts them above you in any way. Some calls I get on and I just naturally be myself. Sometimes I want to curse. I want to say something. We get joking at the start, whatever. I just say whatever I want. Yeah, they like it or they don't. All good. But yeah, don't put them on a pedestal. Don't worry about them. They're just people like you and me, and we're all equal. Okay. And then I guess the final thing is just repetitions and volume. So like I said, one thing that really helped me starting out was doing huge volumes of cold calls and as many meetings as I can. Even if the meetings are, they're not going anywhere, I think it's still worth it to do them at the start just to get better at it, get more experience in talking and presenting and answering questions and dealing with prospects or clients. And after you do enough repetitions, it's actually very quick. I mean, if you did 50 cold calls a day within a week, that's what, 300 plus, 350 plus, you'd be very, very confident, and you'd have a lot less anxiety and nervousness about any of these calls and stuff. So that's something I do recommend, and it's actually quite a fast and effective way to do that is just cold calling. Even if you just want to do like one or two a day, you just want to kind of keep it manageable. 1 or 2 cold calls a day, even if you're not going to like work with that business, it might be worth, at the start when you're starting out, if you have this issue like I did, just picking up the phone or just Googling a few random businesses like, I don't know, chiropractors, massage therapy, physio clinics, whatever, any type of business, and just jump on the phone to see if you can talk to them. And, if you do get past the gatekeeper and you're able to talk to the actual person in charge or business owner or whoever, CEO, just have a combo with them and, see how it goes. I also think that we tend to overplay or overthink situations in our head and kind of focus more on the negative and live in the future when it's actually a lot less. It always goes a lot better than we think. You know what I mean? Like when I started doing cold calls and reaching out, I thought everyone was just going to be so mean and just going to be so many rejections and it was just going to like break me and all that stuff. But I realized that, yeah, you're going to get a lot of no's, but people are generally nice about it. They'll say, I'm not interested, thanks. Or they'll just tell you, oh, sorry, this is not a good fit. I don't want to do this call, whatever. It's fine. You will have some people that'll be rude and maybe you're catching them on an off day or who knows what happened in their life. Maybe they're just, something happened and they're going to be extremely rude. They'll tell you to F off, whatever. I just kind of laugh at that because it's kind of funny at the time. You really just call someone up and then you hear them like going off. It's just find it funny. But yeah, so that's something that you can try and I think that'll really help. All right, guys, I'll wrap this up. So So yeah, I hope this helped. For those of you who do have this, it does get better. Don't worry about it. You can still have an extremely successful online business career, sales career, etc. Even if you do have anxiety or nervousness about sales calls and things like that. I rarely have that now because, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time and I've practiced all these techniques where it doesn't really faze me. I just see it as a game, and it's just kind of, these calls are kind of meaningless to me. It's like, obviously I want to help the person out and see if I can help them out, give them a solution, get paid, things like that. But in the grand scheme of life, whether, this call goes well or not, it doesn't really matter. So try to see it like that. And yeah, if you have any comments or questions or anything, or if you want to share more about your experiences about this, feel free to comment on the video. I'd love to hear about your guys' experience. Maybe you can share, maybe it'll actually help, or any tips. It'll help other people out that are dealing with this. I feel like there's a lot of people that don't talk about this in business and sales and the marketing world, but it is a big thing, and I think it could help a lot of people. And listen, guys, also, if you're a beginner or you're looking to get into this, looking to get into making money online with a one-person business, online business, marketing like YouTube ads, what I do, I own a one-person YouTube ads business. I actually have a free, 100% free school community and course where I literally give away all of my secrets, hacks, knowledge, everything I've learned over the past 5 years in starting and growing a one-person YouTube ads business to 30 and 40K a month. So if that interests you, you want to join that, feel free to check it out, guys. I do reply in the community as well. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. Or if there's any type of videos you guys want me to record or things like that, happy to do that as well. But again, it's a 100% free course. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. So if you guys want to learn, you guys want to know how I do what I do, how I make money online, how I do this stuff, there's a lot of this stuff in there, a lot more videos like this on, everything from how to get clients, what to charge, how to put your offer together, how to do the client calls, stuff like this, how to be less nervous on calls, how to close the deal, get paid, all of that stuff. All right. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.